There, 12 o'clock, and we're on Facebook Live. I'm Howard Scher, Executive Vice President of Quality Homes. Just waiting for people to join us. Happy Friday, everyone. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Albeit maybe spent indoors, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. Welcome, everybody. Well, I'll just start by giving you some background about today's chat, and hopefully lots of questions, please. Today's chat is basically based on many questions that we've been asked as a result of this Facebook Live, but also many questions we hear month in and month out at our sales centers and in dealing with customers just like yourselves who are starting out on the journey of building their custom dream home on their lot somewhere in Ontario. So welcome to the live segment. I see there's still lots of people joining, so I won't get into the details right now, but whether you're just starting your custom home building process or if you're well into it, I think you'll find this beneficial because things are very different right now, and being able to deliver this remotely is basically the way we're going to be doing business, certainly in the near term and perhaps in the medium term as well. I see lots of people still signing on. Anyway, we'll get a little further into it. So COVID isolation has given us a really unique opportunity. And yes, it's a difficult time, there's no question, but it's given us a really unique opportunity to stay safe at home. And what that has become to us is very meaningful in the way we will design our future homes and the places where we live and spend most of our time. So really good opportunity for us to look at where we're living, how we're living, what irks us about our current homes, what we would just wish we would have. And I'm going to get into all of that as we go through the process. So please shoot me your questions as we go. I do have some topics that I'll be covering off, and be happy to answer any and all of your questions. We're using technology right now. This Facebook Live is newish, but the amount of technology available is allowing us to help you remotely in terms of progressing your design ideas, progressing your lot search, progressing all the things that we're talking about right now. You're still able to continue with this process, and I'm going to give you some good details as to how that process works and how you can keep going throughout this difficult time. More about tech later on, because obviously technology in the home has become a huge thing as well. So 3 things you should always have when planning a home. Take lots and lots of pictures. Pictures worth 1,000 words in conveying what you want and what you need. Take measurements. We don't all know what 4 foot or 6 foot or 8 foot or 10 foot or 12 foot looks like. If you take a measurement, you have it. So that's definitely helpful. And most importantly, and even for today's session, take notes. Whether you do it on your phone or on a notepad, I still prefer old school. There are so many nuances into going into building a custom home that you want to keep track of all the notes and all the ideas that you have and share them with your building consultant, whether remotely or in person. So by way of background, Quality Homes has been around since 1987, 32-year-old company. We've built almost 4,000 custom homes across Ontario, so huge knowledge base. And our basic premise is giving you, the customer, peace of mind through what can be a very complex process. So we have many logistical ways of offering you that peace of mind. And basically we find that our on time and on budget guarantees are what gives most of our customers the most peace of mind. Going through the process with ease, obviously, the speed at which we do things, but I'll be talking about our on time guarantee towards the end of the towards the end of the show. My name is Howard Scher. I've been with the company for 20 years, and I have the privilege of leading our sales and marketing teams. What a team. Passionate, informed, knowledgeable, experienced people who deal with each customer on an individual basis from the start to the end of their process. And in dealing with our salespeople, whether it be remotely or in person in the future, you'll find that they take an enormous interest in all the things and all the ingredients that go into building your specific custom home. Basically, we're going to have 5 topics that we're going to talk about today. They are finding your lot, refining your design, selecting your finishes, working within your budget, and also working to your timelines. So, 5 very important factors, and I'll get into each of them in more detail as we go, but I think it's important to segment it. So in your notebook, you may want to write down a few notes on each of these topics. We will in future be having seminars with a lot more depth and detail, but what I'd like to do today is go over them in summary, take your questions, and just assure you that there's a huge knowledge base in each facet of these topics within the company. So if we start talking about your lot, if you have a lot already, bear with us, just talk about this for a few minutes, but easily the most important part of the entire building process. Critically important, because that's something that you can't change once you've purchased and made the commitment to build your quality home. So, many options available. If you want to be rural and look at acreage, you enjoy the open spaces, that's a choice. Rural towns, very interesting for those of us that want to downsize or get a quieter lifestyle. Many beautiful rural towns have huge opportunities. We currently have a project in a town called Harriston, which is a quaint little town about 45 minutes north of Waterloo, and it's incredible the kind of community that has developed there, and the way people are enjoying a lifestyle that is quite different from the larger city or suburban lifestyles that they've decided to leave behind. Cottages, obviously, critically important in terms of waterfront, country lots, basically how you would like to spend your recreation time. Suburban lots where you're closer to urban centers but not in them. Maybe commuting is an idea for you. Suburbia can be outside of the GTA, it could be outside of any urban center. And then obviously urban lots themselves, where you are wanting the location of being within a town, within a city, small or large, but those are the basically parameters of the kind of lot that you would like to live on. Things to think about when securing a lot or when assessing a lot: accessibility in terms of the roads that get you there, things on the lot such as, do you want to have a treed lot? Would you like views, especially in the rural settings? Slopes and topography, really important, can be your best friend in terms of maybe getting a beautiful walkout basement, can be problematic in terms of where to build, and obviously we'll take you through those challenges as we get further into the process. Rivers, ponds, streams, anything that make it beautiful and appealing to you, those are all good things to assess. The neighborhoods, if you want to be in suburbia or a small town or even a large town, obviously location. The neighborhoods will dictate what's going on in terms of the architecture, in terms of the community, in terms of the cultures, in terms of the spirit of the area. And then last but definitely not least, the servicing of the lot is critically important. Obviously, if you're in a town or a city, urban municipal services are available. If not, you may have to install a well and a septic, and obviously we have the resources in place to help you through that process as well. The emotional factors of purchasing a lot are very important. So, what do I want to see when I walk out my front door in the morning? What do I want to see when I'm sitting in my backyard on the weekend? how do I want to feel when I drive up the driveway? Things like, where does the sun rise? Where does the sun set? These are things that we may not think of ordinarily, but they may have a huge impact on the way we live and the design of our home going forward. Tools that are available to do this remotely, obviously MLS, and I cannot stress strongly enough that if you're going to use a real estate agent, to find a real estate agent that is licensed, that looks after your preferences and needs and understands exactly what you're looking for in terms of building a new custom home. They need to be dedicated to that process, and they need to basically partner with you on it so that they find you the absolute best options that you can in areas that make the most sense. Google Earth, obviously you can take a good look at lots from basically satellite view, and as well as the drive-by feature. Gives you a very good idea, but basically it's a good start if you want to do a drive-by. Maybe it's best to drive by not on a Saturday afternoon. Maybe you want to do it at peak hour and see what traffic flows are like, and what's going on in the area. So those are ways in just basically assessing a critically important part of your project purchase. So once you've secured your building lot, now we need to make it buildable in terms of, is it ready for construction? Unfortunately, due to strong demand in the market and tougher regulations by government, building lots are quite rare. So essentially, we need to make sure that we're going to make this lot buildable by either having a severance or by doing something creative in order to make the lot buildable. It might even be a teardown. So we're seeing in our business an enormous amount of teardowns, basically, because it makes a lot readily available, and there's some advantages in terms of development charges. I'll get into that in a little bit as well. But again, the location that you love may have a house in it already, and many of our projects involve the teardown. One thing we will need to assess with you is access. So can we get to your lot? Are there hydro lines? Are there trees? And how will we work around those logistics? So once you have a lot in mind, please contact your building consultant, and we can work together with you in making sure that all is good in terms of accessibility. I mentioned servicing briefly. So servicing basically means you're going to have your lot ready to receive your house, sewer and water connections, gas, hydro, cable if you need it. So essentially in municipal centers, that's quite easily done because the services already exist at the street. In rural settings, it may be a little more difficult. So you might be compelled to put a well and septic system in. Again, very doable. There are many, many certified contractors that we work with out in the field, and they know how to do the testing, how to size it, get you your budgets for doing that, and we'll help you through that process to make it as simple as possible. You'll also need a building permit. So again, many towns, or all towns, have this information on their website. So this is something you can research from home while in isolation. Basically, two parts to a building permit. One is the zoning that talks about the site plan and the lot, and then the other is about the structural permit, and that's something we take care of in terms of drawings, engineering, and all the other requirements that you'll have. But again, we have the resources in place that will guide you through that process step by step. Needn't be complicated. Building departments make it fairly clear in a step-by-step process, and basically we'll hold your hand through that process to make sure that your building is permissible, legal, and that we have a smooth process going forward. So if you don't have any questions about building lots or the servicing or permits thereof, we'll move on to the next topic, which is the design. So fun part. Again, our entire team of building consultants are highly experienced in both the design and pricing of your home. We have a huge library of designs that have been refined over the years. They are available on our website, and essentially our building consultants can walk you through those plans. We do accommodate changes to those plans to suit your lifestyle, and we build completely custom as well, should none of our plans fit the bill, although we generally find that most of them either do or come very close to what you need. So in essence, once you've selected a plan, we can do that remotely and we can start working with you on that. Just checking, some questions are coming in. Hi from Egbert, Ontario. So in the design, we basically want to make sure that we are reflecting the lifestyle that you're hoping to live. What an opportunity during COVID to understand exactly how you would like to live, and basically spend the time within the safety of your own home. So in essence, we have an opportunity now to see the things that we love about our homes, the things that we really could do without. And I think that emerging from COVID, we'll see an enormous amount of changes to home trends in terms of the amount of time people are spending at home, what they're doing when they're there. And we can take all of these themes into account when designing your home. So it's really important for you to understand and be able to communicate to your building consultant the needs and wants that you have. We have extensive checklists. They'll ask you the questions that you need to be asked, and start the design process, which is incredibly fun. We'll talk about budget in a minute, but designing to your budget is a very important factor too, because if you're like me, you want more than might be financially viable, and we need to keep those design ideas in check. So needs, wants, but basics. Where are you spending most of your time? What are you doing while you're in that space? Open plan has been exceedingly popular the last decade. Maybe not so much anymore when we need break-off areas or we need privacy. Those are all things to consider. Are you working from home? Are you going to be working from home more? What does that look like? Is that a formal office space? Is that just great internet connectivity and doing it from the kitchen island or your couch? What are the backdrops in terms of what would you like people to see if you're going to be doing Zoom calls? Those types of things. All little considerations that go a long way into making sure that your design is really good. So I think it's really important that we understand that our lives are in flux, and that we need to be flexible in terms of the designs and the ideas that we come up with. So I think another great place to look at changing things up a bit is where we sleep. So bedrooms have been bedrooms for the longest time, but now they might be considered more as relaxing and break-off areas. Kids may want to do homework, so maybe a little desk in the area, crafts, those types of things. Maybe there's not enough space, or the kids don't get on the way we'd like them to, so that they each go to their rooms and have a quiet place to do their work or their crafts. That could be fun too. Bathrooms, something we're seeing a lot of is nicer showers and fewer tubs. A lot of people say to us, I need a formal dining room and I need a tub because it's going to help with the resale of my home. I don't agree at all. I think that designing a home that's perfect for you will offer you the best resale opportunity. There's a whole lot more people that are like you than that are not like you. And in essence, spending money on things that you're not going to use in case somebody likes them when they buy it is not a good investment of your funds. Basically, I think that if a home works for you, it's going to work for somebody else, and you'll have many, many years to enjoy the amenities that can be afforded in the design that you love. Kitchens, terribly important. More so, we're all cooking more than we've ever cooked before, and I think that that's teaching us about food storage and preparation areas, and how we can work within our our preparation triangle. So the stove, the fridge, the sink, how that all works. Do we need extra cabinet space? What about our countertops? Granite was very popular, but it's porous and it stains. So solid surface quartz seems to be way more popular now, lower maintenance. So again, have a look at what you're doing while you're prepping. There might be more helping out in the kitchen, whereas before, only one person was in the kitchen. Those are all great ideas in terms of understanding the amount of space you need, and then you can reflect that back to your building consultant. We'll get into the decor of the kitchen and the selections, but the practicality of it is critically important so that it can be functional. Some questions coming in about passive and I guess net zero. I'll deal with that very quickly now. So we offer a net zero ready package. Essentially, that would get your house to a point where, depending on the fuel source and the air blower test that we do, your house could potentially become net zero with the addition of solar or wind or geothermal or one of those alternative fuel supplies. Basically, we'll do an entire seminar on this, but just to tell you that every quality home gets an air blower test. Thrilled to say that we exceed the industry standard by some 30 to 35%. So air blower test basically means how leaky is your house. And air leaking out, warm air leaking out in winter, cool air leaking out in summer adds to utility costs. And a net zero basically means that your house is producing as much energy as it absorbs, and therefore your cost should be minuscule, if any, in terms of heating and cooling it and the impact on the environment. So our homes are net zero ready, and we can work with you in terms of getting to full net zero with some of the adaptations that are required. Somebody asking about, just to backtrack a little, who arranges the install of the municipal services. So basically that is the customer's responsibility with our guidance, because we don't own the lot, you own the lot. The sewer and water contractor will have to be identified. Municipalities have a list of certified contractors. We can help you identify them. We can help you negotiate with them. Hydro generally is by a hydro utility or by a certified contractor. And essentially, we'll work with them as well. A layout's applied once the foundation is in. And again, we'll do an entire seminar on the servicing of the lot and the installation of the utilities. But the basic premise is that we are going to help you every step of the way. Because you own the lot, it will ultimately be your financial responsibility, but we'll make sure that we coordinate it correctly, minimal delays, and that everything works seamlessly as we go. Leslie asks, is it possible to build a covered deck off one of the designs that has a wood fireplace? So decks can absolutely be covered. If the fireplace is within the deck or an external fireplace, obviously code regulations are pretty stringent about that. Wood burning fireplaces are exceedingly popular. Very nice from an ambience and a fuel standpoint, keep houses toasty and warm. Obviously need to be certified. The correct building code applications need to be followed. We take all of that into account when we do our installations, when we do our pricing, but essentially covered decks are great. Wood burning fireplaces are great. If the two are to be together, obviously some work to do about building code and the applicability. Okay, a few more questions on things that I'm going to get to in a few minutes. So if you don't mind holding on, let's talk a little bit about the basement. Two areas that in the design often get overlooked or overlooked at last and could be really, really important are your basement, your laundry room, and garage. So to talk about the basement first, all of our homes have some form of basement, usually full height included in the price. We are completely responsible for the installation, the excavation, and the building of your basement. And what a great opportunity to turn some existing square footage into something that's really unique and useful for yourself. So the structure's already there, so give some thought to how we finish it in terms of, again, reflecting on our lifestyle. So guest bedrooms, great way to have guests out of the way, maybe even noisy kids could perhaps have bedrooms in the basement. and washrooms. Obviously, that's pretty simple to do. Gym. Everybody seems to be, well, hopefully, keeping healthy, working out from home. And I think that the amount gym memberships charge and seeing what is now available on the internet, having a great workout area in your basement could be perfect in terms of keeping fit and healthy. On the other side of that coin, wine cellar. So basements typically don't have the temperature fluctuations of the rest of the house, and what a great area. It already has some temperature and humidity control. If you're an aficionado, obviously we want to enclose it and make sure that that is done perfectly, but really good opportunity. Cold cellar under the front porch. These are all options. Hobbies and workshops and craft rooms. I think that again in this COVID era, we're seeing how important it is to be able to amuse oneself, grow our personal abilities, and crafts are a great way to do that. And to have a nice craft room in the basement would really be a good advantage and not take up space on the main floor. The garage is also a very interesting place. Where lots allow, we naturally build a larger garage. There's nothing worse than opening your car door, banging it into the wall, banging it into another car. So we like our garages to be a little larger. Many of our clientele drive pickup trucks, being more rural. So that needs to fit easily. But we also have a nasty habit of filling our garages up with junk, and that takes up more space than anything else. So I think it's really important that you think that through in terms of perhaps, we have shelf organizers, we have wall hanging systems, and maybe it's best that, you buy a small garden shed and get your mowers and your lawn equipment and, anything else you don't need out of the garage so that you can move around and have your cars be stored in a way that's best for them. We do offer heated garages. We offer, finished insulated garages as well, whatever your preference is. Laundry rooms are way too overlooked in my opinion. Great place to break off from the outdoors into the indoors. Come in and be warm, but you're going to be a little messy. So have you thought through perhaps having an area where you can hang coats, put muddy boots, have a large resilient laundry sink that you can rinse off and wash off, that really stops people yelling at you when you walk into the house with a little mud underfoot. And you can basically have this break off area. Similarly, when going out, you can prepare yourself and get out the house without having to drag goodies back into the house. A really good tip that I like is your external hose bibs, whether they're in the garage or on the exterior of the house, can in fact have warm water. And from sort of October to April, it's no fun rinsing off with cold water. Your pets will thank you too. So there is that option available as well. Something just fun to look at. Carol asks, is there a fee for the design change? So no. Basically, our building consultants work with you, and we invest the time and effort into your home design that basically gets you to a concept stage where you're completely satisfied with the home. As I said, most of our customers do like a model from our existing library. Changing those models or even coming with such a custom home design, all we do is we price the resultant design that you have. So there's no formal customization charge, other than if you would like us to start your home design from scratch and you have a very elaborate project, then we will charge a design consulting service, and basically the price of that design will be deducted from or included, in the value of your home. So whatever you spend in the design phase obviously goes towards the purchase price. You're not obligated to build with us should you use the design service, but we obviously invest in that in the hope that Quality Homes, all the wonderful things we offer, will make us the best choice to be your custom builder. Jim asks about different degrees of completion. So this is something that we have decided not to do, Jim. We found that in order to have a great project build, it really is better for us to have complete control over the project. I'm sure you can appreciate, tradesmen coming in during the process makes it very difficult. So let me give you an example. If somebody wants to install their own flooring, what does that mean? Well, basically it means that we cannot install the trim, we cannot install the kitchen, we're not sure the thickness of the flooring exactly, so how do we undercut our doors? And immediately the permutations start adding up enormously that make things very difficult. I am, towards the end, going to talk about our time and price and quality guarantees, and when we control the process, we take responsibility for it, and we're absolutely able to offer those guarantees because we control the process. If once we're done, you would like to have something of your own done or installed, a deck built or some other component to the home, obviously, once the home is signed off and you take possession and ownership, we have no issue, obviously, if you'd like to do it yourself. Bev asked if we build a basement. Absolutely. Basements are included in our pricing. We use a poured concrete system. We have our preferred contractors, basement contractors around the province. Every contractor will tell you he builds a square and level basement. Being modular and precise, the way things are built in our factory is really precision built. We need a precise foundation as well, so we prefer to take care of that as one of the major components of construction. Jean asks about heated basement floors versus insulated basement floor. So from my personal experience, a good rigid insulation under the basement floor is phenomenal. And if the house is well heated and the energy flow is good, that is going to keep the basement floors warm. We do many heated floor systems. We do small areas with electric systems. We do large areas with boiler and hydronic systems. Obviously creates an enormous amount of comfort throughout the house. However, return on investment, they can be quite an investment, and if we could do it with a passive system, that might be something worth considering. However, either are available. So to move on to our next section of the design is the exterior. I don't think there's any better source of pride than driving up your driveway and looking at your home and going, or your house, and going, gee, that's home. Coming home is a really special thing to be able to do. And if you're a house proud in terms of the curb appeal and how your home looks, that's magic. And our designers will work with you on getting that curb appeal, those features that really make your home your own, from a beautiful exterior standpoint, refined and reflected. So styles are very personal. We don't have a specific style that we only build. We build farmhouses, we build country houses, we build heritage looks, we build traditional, contemporary, craftsman, transitional, and now a lot of modern too. Flat roofs, very low pitched roofs, always fun and exciting to do, but must be reflective of the look, tone, and feel that you want from the curb appeal of your house. So at the end of the day, the neighborhood that you want to live in, your own personal preferences, and of course budget, will determine the exterior appeal of your house. When selecting product, and we'll get into the decor in a minute, those are the finishing touches that will make it truly your own, and a lot of attention to detail can go in there. So in terms of finishes, this is an area that people spend an inordinate amount of time on, and rightfully so, because this is the area that you're going to live in. However, I cannot emphasize strongly enough that great design beats good finishes every time. Finishes can be changed. Great design is timeless. And so I really urge you to give the design and the structure of your home a lot of thought with our building consultants, so that your decor makes sense in terms of not only being appealing to the eye or your lifestyle, but it also makes sense in enhancing the structure of your home. So this is, really personal. This is all about you. We have a wonderfully qualified decorator on staff. Her name is Melinda. Check her out on her website, and we'll be doing a seminar with Melinda as well. She can be available remotely in terms of getting to grips with your needs and wants and the things that appeal to you. Our website has many resources in it, and our supplier websites are amazing as well in terms of really getting to understand the finishes that we offer. I would like to talk about our suppliers a little bit because they are a huge part of our business, and we've forged partnerships with Canadian suppliers over the years that are very special. And a lot of the advantages to our process are because we use reliable, well-warranted, well-priced, beautiful products that are supplied by great designers. And when I say Canadian, I don't mean to make a political statement. I'm just saying that consistency of supply, understanding of Canadian construction and warranty processes and the Canadian consumer are terribly, terribly important to us. So the consumers that have that ability are obviously the ones we choose, and we have very long-standing relationships with most of the branded suppliers that you know and probably love already. So that gives us the ability to offer product consistently, to have very, very broad ranges of offerings, and essentially make your home specifically your own. So, in some of that, can break them down a little. Flooring, for example, we ran a survey this week on our social media as to whether you would prefer hardwood versus vinyl in your kitchen. And amazingly enough, it was almost 50-50. So it just goes to show how subjective these things are. So, hardwood is awesome and it's been around and it's timeless, but, vinyl products have improved enormously and they're resilient, and they look really, really good. Range of colors, range of textures, and, easily cleaned. And if you have a pet, for example, you don't want, I remember my dog running in place on the hardwood floor trying to get traction, and oh boy, got scuffed. So laminates or vinyls might be more applicable. So there's the way off between practical applications and what looks good and feels good as well. We're seeing trends now in simplicity. So our trims not like that. So basically, you see things that are a lot more simple, square, maybe just a beveled edge. Same thing with door profiles. So, just simplicity rules in terms of basically just a calmer finish all around. Colors, we're seeing a lot of lighter, brighter colors. Still some accent points in terms of maybe some of the woods being darker, but definitely, lighter and brighter. And I think that makes sense with mood and all the other things we're experiencing at the moment. Kitchens and baths. Your kitchen, as I said earlier, is going to be a place where you're going to spend an inordinate amount of time. Our kitchen company, our kitchen supplier, can't say enough about them. They are incredibly versatile. They'll paint their kitchen cabinets to pretty much any Benjamin Moore color. So if you need color in your kitchen, if you need a wood look, something in between, essentially we can make sure that is included in your package. So you have the functionality of the kitchen, but you also have the pleasing aesthetics, whether it be door profiles, whether it be the countertops, as I said, solid surface, or laminates, or something in between, easily done. Again, all about your personal preferences. Fireplaces, I touched on wood burning fireplaces. We have propane, we have electric, natural gas, and obviously fireplaces are awesome in terms of heating to a point, especially the wood burning, but aesthetics. Little trend that we're seeing, fireplaces are getting way lower because we're seeing TVs and screens above the fireplace, and you don't want to be sitting there getting neck while watching your favorite show. So essentially, little basics like that, our building consultants are highly qualified to help you, map that out. Furniture placements, do those as well. Some more questions coming in. Teresa asked about ICF basements. So absolutely, yes, we do offer ICF as an option. What we're finding, Teresa, is that, again, the return on the investment is something that you need to look into. With building code the way it is now, with basement walls needing to be insulated from floor to ceiling, some of the things I spoke about, rigid insulation beneath the floor, there may be cost-efficient ways to achieve similar benefits to what an RCF may offer. We do offer it. However, look at the alternatives as well, because they may be viable for you for sure. Mallory asks, what's the most popular quality home model? So we have a few. The Riverstone has been a perennial favorite for years. It's a great little 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom bungalow that's great as a starter home or a retirement home. The price point is really sharp. Right now it's on at $290,000 in our zone 1, and I'll explain a bit about zones later on. We have a model called the Lindsay, was designed by one of our staff members by the name of Lindsay. That was at the National Home Show a few years ago as the dream home, and has been incredibly popular ever since. And then our Rosso model in our Grimsby Sales Centre, and that's available for you if you contact our building consultants on a virtual basis as well, is an 1,800 square foot bungalow, tons of natural light, and essentially open plan, very popular, just as either a retirement home, active adult home, or even for families. But big trends. Single level living, huge. People don't want to do stairs anymore. Obviously, if the lot doesn't permit, 2-story it is. But I think the biggest trend we're seeing is just comfort and access in terms of being single level. More questions coming in. Janet asks about inspections and approvals. So at our Quality Homes plant, we are a CSA certified plant, and we are governed by the CSA and certified to build to the Ontario Building Code. So everything that gets built in our plant, which would be the entire structure of the home, the electrical, the plumbing, and the structural, is inspected there. So you don't need those inspections on site. So basically the only inspections that would happen on site would be for your foundation, which we take care of. And then anything that's built on site, whether it be a garage or maybe a porch or with a covered roof, and then your final occupancy. So again, we'll coordinate with you and the building inspector as to when we're ready for those inspections. Call them and keep it completely simple. Melanie asked, does Quality Homes provide the name of every color flooring instead of just putting the house in case it's needed in the future? Absolutely. So we have part numbers, we have supply codes. And again, using consistent brands that are available day in and day out from popular suppliers, experienced suppliers, is key for that very purpose. So for warranty, for example, buying an end lot of cheap flooring is something we would never consider for those very reasons. So to move on a little bit, I'd like to start talking about budget. We're running a little short on time. So budget is a very personal thing, because every one of us sets a different budget for ourselves. Some of us may want to stretch a little more in the home we're building. We may be building it as an investment for our futures. We may be building it as a secondary home, a cottage. We may be building it with our children in mind. So budget is a very, very delicate thing, and we understand that. However, it's critically important that we understand your budget, because we want to align our design and our process with the funds that you've made available for this project. So divulging your budget is not an easy thing to do, and we get it. However, we want to make sure that you understand the entire process and what the budget needs to be for the entire process. So I've gone through a lot of it already. So purchasing your lot, getting it serviced, are budget items that need to be taken care of. The structural design of your home, obviously, we need to make sure that it's in line with your budget. And then the finishes that you select are definitely an important factor as well. So if we know what your budget is, we can guide you accordingly to get you the most value possible for the money you're prepared to invest in your projects. Just makes it easier for everybody. We can express your budget to you in terms of monthly payments. If you want to take a mortgage, we can express it to you in terms of net values. But I just want to make absolutely sure that you understand that our pricing is guaranteed. So what does that mean? Essentially, when you sign a contract with us for a home, that's the price you're going to pay unless you make a change. So we guarantee that, and I'll get into that in my closing comments. It's also very important to know that we only charge 10% as a build deposit for our homes. So essentially, if you're in a custom built, site built scenario, you're going to have draw payments throughout the process. They're expensive. Your money's out for longer. Each one needs a lawyer and a bank. It's logistically complicated. So we have one payment at the outset of the process, and then not another penny is due until we install the home on your lot. So we're going to basically finance your construction for you, get that foundation in for you, get the entire home built, and when it arrives at your property, it's going to be somewhere between 80 and 90% complete. And then you have the satisfaction or the peace of mind again, knowing that you've been taken care of throughout the process with just that 10% deposit. The payment happens then when we install the home on your foundation, and then there's a small holdback that's released once we are complete, it's substantially complete. So very important point to note just in terms of cash flow, in terms of your financing. We work with all of the major banks. We have mortgage specialists from a few of the major banks that will help you through the process. We don't get involved in getting your financial information at all. We just want to hear from the bank that you've been approved for the amounts that you would like to invest in your property. So that's a very easy process as well. So getting that detail down is important for you. Our pricing basically is very simple to follow. We have a base price, and then the options that you select basically are added to that price. If you deselect them, they're taken out. It's that simple. So we just want to get you to a point where you are comfortable with the spend. You've realized the maximum value in your investment, and that you're going to do really well with this product down the road, because building a home, unless you're doing something speculative, should be a very, very good, safe, and prudent long-term investment. Timing is the last topic that I'd like to cover, and I'll get to a few more questions that have popped up in a minute. So I'll give you an hypothesis. If you are a month late getting your building permit, it doesn't seem like such a huge deal. Can you imagine if your movers were a month late in coming to get your furniture and your contents? So just to put things in perspective, it's really important for the timing of your project to be controlled right from the outset till the day you move in. I think I can't say enough about this. So keeping things on track, on time, is something we do inordinately well. Our entire process has evolved from time and process controls. And when you build with us, you will notice that things happen in a pre-organized, predetermined way to keep things on track. Our building process is phenomenally accelerated. Building in a factory, and I could go on for hours about this, has so many advantages. Yes, it gets you out of the weather, but way more importantly, we have materials on site. So basically everything is there, ready for our labor force to install on your home. So it's not like we have to drop a bunk of lumber here and a load of drywall over there. Everything comes to our plant, it's there, it's ready, it's predetermined. And then our workforce, incredibly experienced. We've got a team there that has, I think the average tenure at QualityHomes is some 14 or 15 years. They are employees, and they are exceptionally good at what they do. And believe it or not, work flows through our factory from start to finish in about 10 or 12 working days. So, every time I walk through that factory, I'm just amazed at how efficient and how well things run. We have waste minimization. We have all of the other benefits that we have in working from a plant. But for you, the homeowner, the timelines are predetermined and very accelerated. So more than being fast is that we're accurate. So when you get a building permit, we're going to give you a guaranteed completion date, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. So time is precious. As your project evolves, time gets more and more and more important. Therefore, it's as important to control it as the beginning of the process as it is at the end. And we have the experience and the resources to guide you every step of the way so that delays are minimized or just don't happen. I haven't heard of a person site building a custom home on budget, on time in decades. It's the nature of the beast, and it's something that we have perfected. And in a separate seminar, we'll get into the cost implications of delays and overruns. It's as large as you think it is. It's exponentially worse. So just being on budget and on time is an incredibly important peace of mind for you, the customer. Just checking. So Daniela asked if we're Tarion approved. Absolutely. So we're a Tarion registered builder. Every single home we build is registered by Tarion. Please check out their website, Tarion, TARION.com. And essentially, Tarion is the provincially appointed homeowner insurance company that regulates and mandates the residential construction industry. It's obligatory, it's law, and I really urge you, if you're going to choose a contractor who is not Tarion registered, to be very, very cautious. Our rating with Tarion is outstanding. We have a stellar rating. We've been working with them since the inception of the company for over 30 years. And as I said, each and every home gets registered, and it's basically an insurance policy that, should anything go wrong with the build or with us as a company, you're protected. Neither of those things you need to worry about, but you have that peace of mind should that come up, including the insurance of your deposit. I see Linda from Harriston Heights is on. Hi, Linda. Linda bought one of our beautiful townhomes in the town of Harriston, and we're thrilled to have her as a customer. Debbie asks about a fully serviced lot in town. Do I need to choose the home first to know where to install services? Yes, absolutely. It's good to know where the hydro is going to come in, but so we'll know where the services are vis-a-vis your lot, and then we'll make sure that the mechanical room and where they enter the house aligns with that. We don't want to be having to trench something across the lot because we didn't give it some consideration. So very, very important to do that. Richard asks what's included in the total price of a home. So Richard, if you imagine the building envelope from excavation to the rooftop and everything within it, that is what's included in our home pricing. So anything outside of that, meaning the lot, the services, landscaping, permits, fees, is an addition. Obviously, we help you with that. But our guaranteed pricing is for the home ready for you to move into, other than appliances, furnishings, those types of things as well. Hi, Cindy. Cindy's asking about the COVID issue. So obviously our restart plans are well in place. We're just trying to forge a restart date. Cindy's inquiring about our Harriston Heights project, and Cindy, I'll be in touch with you in the next couple of days to make sure that the timelines are correct and that you understand exactly what the impacts are. Right now, we're not seeing them as severe, but well worth a chat, and I'll be in touch with you about that. Brenda asked, do you demolish the existing home? We can coordinate the demolition company because typically we like them to excavate the foundation as they're demolishing the home. No sense in filling it in and then re-excavating it again. The fee for the demolition is not included in our contract, but again, we can identify the demolition company and coordinate that so that it works well with our excavation, again, to save time and funds. Joanne asks about how long the process takes from start to finish. So great question. So obviously it depends on where you're building, what you're building, when you're building, but typically we do in weeks what traditional site builders do in months. So 12 to 16 weeks is a good sort of average from basically from the time that a building permit is issued. Obviously, the design work and everything that goes into getting the building permit is quite subjective because of choices and changes. But once we have that building permit, we can really put our timelines together and basically guarantee that timeline of completion. Quite variable, but will be guaranteed, and I think that's the important part. Chris asks about rolling mortgage balances. So I think, Chris, you would like to demolish your current property and rebuild. That's generally a question that our financial institutions will take care of. The challenge there is that when the house gets demolished, their security is a little different. So, it might depend on how much equity is in the project itself. But generally, they are happy to do it, and then the financing and the resultant new mortgage will roll over onto your new property. So in closing, I would like to finish off with our HUG program. So that's the HUG standing for Home Buyers Ultimate Guarantee. As far as we know, we're the only builder in Ontario, and if not Canada, that offers this program. So basically, our HUG program has three components. The first is that we guarantee the quality. So we will not make substitutions with cheaper products on the fly. We don't do that at all. Hence my comments about the superb partners we work with. So building in a plant gives us unique opportunities that you just don't get on site. It's out of the weather. Our quality control is exceptional. Our processes are good. The CSA process is very elaborate. So we're going to guarantee the quality. The second component that we're going to guarantee is the price. So basically, the price you contract for is the price you're going to pay unless you change something. So as it pertains to the building envelope that I described earlier, we are going to honor that price. How do we do that? We work, again, with highly reliable suppliers. We've got an inordinate experience with all the homes we build to understand the pitfalls and how they happen. And we don't use allowances at all. So we make sure that our pricing is accurate from the get-go, and we get all those details in place prior to construction so that you, the customer, know and have peace of mind that the price is the price at the beginning, at the end. We hear these horror stories of contractors getting customers roped in with the price of X. Once there's a foundation in the ground and the home's under construction, the homeowner's in a bind because they are relying on the contractor, and the price gouging starts and runs endlessly. So by having good attention to detail up front, reliable suppliers, and a great process, we can keep our pricing consistent. The third component of our HUG program is the timing. So we guarantee the completion date of your home. We're not aware of any other builder who will do this. So essentially, when you get your building permit, we're going to give you a guaranteed completion date. Obviously, that's going to take into account the uniqueness of your particular home, where you're building it, when you're building it, so that we can make sure that you, the customer, can align your closings, your finances, your moving, your living arrangements with a lot of comfort and peace of mind, so that the completion date rolls around, your home's ready for you and you're ready for your home. So a HUG program, price, quality, timing, all guaranteed. We go so far on our timing guarantee to offer you $250 a day for every day that we're late. We've had this program some 12 years now, and we've hardly paid out any money. So again, more peace of mind for you as well. The hour's up. I'm going to take the last few questions. If I don't get your questions, please feel free to email us. Any of our building consultants can absolutely can answer the questions for you. If you're going to build, what would you suggest as the best time to build? So in terms of seasonality, we negate pretty much all of that because of building in a plant. in terms of the groundwork and pouring foundations, we take the care to heat our basements and make sure that that's all done correctly at no extra charge to you, the customer. We would like to build houses all year round because we have the plant, and it's a really unique opportunity. So our materials are out of the weather, our workers are out of the weather, and basically, we make sure that we insulate our houses, not only from warmth perspective, but we insulate them against the environment completely. So we do build all year round. We do have incentives for winter build programs that you may want to take advantage of. But I think the best time to build a home is the best time for you. And what does that mean in terms of your current living situation, your moving situation, perhaps getting top dollar for the home that you're moving out of, or if it's a first-time home, do you have your savings built up? I will say this: interest rates due to COVID are exceedingly low. I think it's a great time to make an investment. Interest rates will go up, and they've been historically low for a historically long period of time. So sooner might well be better, just from an interest rate perspective, cost of materials, etc., etc. Hope that answers your question. Julie asks us if there's a rough cost per square foot. So yes, there is, and there always is, but it always has a huge amount of caveats. So our average cost per square foot runs in the range of $220 to $250 a square foot. What does that mean? Well, is there a garage? Is there a finished basement? Where is the home being built? How far away is it? What are the components that have been chosen? So it's a very, very difficult question to answer. And unfortunately, it's become the norm out there in terms of, understanding if a builder is cheap or expensive, what's the cost per square foot. So I urge you to really get into the nuts and bolts of the things I described that make up your budget, in terms of understanding the structure, the options that are available to you, the builder's reputation, all of those things. If you look at any other product, there are cheap components and there are expensive components, and there's high quality and there's low quality. And to understand that a great builder may seem a little more expensive at the outset, I can guarantee you that at the end of the project, they will be the same price as your low-cost builder, if not less, once all the changes, all the delays, all the heartache and aggravation have been taken into account. So please look at the entire system when you're looking at budget, as opposed to just the original asking price from the builder. Going to sign off again. This has been a treat. So glad so many of you joined us. We will be having seminars with some frequency, and we'll keep you posted about those. If you have any questions in the interim, as I've said, our entire sales force is available by phone, by email, by live chat. Please don't hesitate to call them, no matter where you are in the process. If you're just starting out and you have lots of questions, they'll be delighted to answer them. If you're further down the road and have some specifics, that too. QualityHomes.ca is our website, full of video tours, our plant, our sites, our processes, our people, and the phone number 1-800-265-2648. Been a treat. Thanks so much, and have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands.